Hello and welcome to the Classroom Connection, the show that takes you inside Marion County Public Schools. I'm Kevin Christian, and coming up on today's show, learn how thousands of students enjoy free meals this summer and what makes it all possible. Meet a special young lady whose journey will inspire you to live life to the fullest, and discover how a few fish can lure students into strict dedication to a great cause. Up first, though, it is summer, and that means kids have loads of free time, but access to educational materials can be pretty limited. It seems learning may grind to a halt, but not if you know about the Parent Resource Center run by our Title I program. Joe Hartley shares details of this program that is such an asset to parents.
A parent could easily spend hundreds of dollars at an educational store and still not get the help their child needs. The Title I Resource Center is a lot cheaper and a lot more precise.
You don't have to worry about what does my child need, because there's a form that we are able to send to the schools, and if you're not really sure what your child needs as far as area or measurement or geometry or phonics or comprehension, then you can work with your teacher and they can tell you, and you bring that form back to us, and then we're able to give you exactly what you need to help your children specifically and borrow for free.
Since Davis took over, the center has gone from a bland storeroom into a bright, inviting resource.
It's more cheerful, it's bright, parents are excited to come in, kids are excited to come in, they can get on the computer, they can choose any types of games or puzzles or have make and takes or file folder games to help them at home.
And help at home is key. The best classroom teacher in the world isn't as good as an involved parent.
Parents are the key to success. Sometimes the parents will come in and they'll say, "She told me to practice math." And a lot of times the parents will say, "I just don't know how to help them. They're learning about fractions." And we'll sit down with the parents and just show them how they can help their child. Sometimes they just want to come on and get advice. They just want to come in and tell me how I can help them.
Even though the center hours are reduced by about a third during the summer, Davis is still getting about the same number of visits.
Now in the school year, right before FCAT, we were very popular. When the teachers send home report cards, we get an influx of parents, but I would say about 5 to 10 parents visit a week during the school year, and I've had 5 to 10 parents in 4 days in the summer.
Because they lose so much during the summertime, if you don't keep the skills up, they'll get behind because they have to relearn everything they learned the year before.
But the most important question, is it working?
Oh yeah. She likes to read, and she doesn't complain anymore when I say, "All right, go to your room and read." She likes to do it. She always likes having new books to read.
I find different materials that I can use to help my granddaughter out, such as math skills and reading comprehension, reading games, and mathematic games, stuff that she can learn some skills.
They like to bring the games home and play, and they like to play games, and so if they can learn while they're playing with us, it's good.
A lot of times the parents come in and they're like, "I never knew this was here. This is all free," and they love it, and they come back. To me, when you have people coming back, that's the best feedback, the best kudos is, "I checked this out last week, let me see what else you got," and that makes me feel good, seeing the same people return.
The Resource Center at Howard Academy is a great place for parents to get help for their kids, but what do you do if you can't get there? Well, it will come to you. Title I's Parent Resource Van is a mini center on wheels, and we'll take a look at that option in the coming months. Something else that happens each summer, kids going hungry. For many students, the meals they eat at school are the only meals they receive, period. Fortunately, students do not have to go hungry during the summer just because school is out. Our district provides free meals during the summer to anyone 18 and younger. Chadwick Pierce explains how it's all made possible.
Well, it's a very important program because we make it a point to feed the children over the summertime who may otherwise not get meals if we didn't provide this service. But we do make breakfast, lunch, and in some cases there is supper. We also offer snack to all the children in Marion County district-wide, certain select schools and churches and other programs such as Boys and Girls Club, things of that nature. We offer them mostly 4 days a week. There are some that we offer Monday through Friday, but for the schools, it's usually Monday through Thursday when we're open. We try to be in the area where the children are, so we choose locations that are interested in the program, such as the Boys and Girls Club of Marion County. We have churches that also provide meals in communities that want to provide those meals, those missed meals that the kids might not be getting during the summertime. So between the churches and the Boys and Girls Club, we try to work with them hand in hand to provide these meals. In most cases, they just need to show up. We provide meals to children 18 years and under at all locations. That's all they have to do, show up. There's no application, there's no paperwork, there's no pre-qualifying.
I know a few people, not mentioning names just because that's them, but they don't have enough money, or they don't have the resources, or their mom doesn't think about it, or not involved in their life or anything, and they come here and they won't say anything. And the fact that they get a lunch, and they get breakfast and they get the food from here, it makes their day, and it makes them have a full stomach for when they go home, and they don't have to go all day without eating. I think it's a great thing that they're trying to help people and give people the nutrition that they need. Another thing is, I think they should advertise it more, just because not many people know about it. Kids come here and don't expect to be fed lunch, but they love that we do, so I think it's a great program.
Our summer feeding program is not just for the low income. Everyone could be affected by it. Anyone can come in and receive the food. It might just be, you might just be struggling for a week or two. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're low income. You might be going through hard times. It can affect everyone from every different area of life, every walk of life. You don't necessarily have to be a normal recipient of the free lunch program.
It's helpful, I guess, for lack of a better term. Some people don't have the resources like myself. My parents work day to day. It's kind of hard to just scrape extra money around, and it's nice that they think about other people, and it's nice that they think about the lower class, the people that can't always go out and just buy food like every other person can. It's nice that they just think of the little guy sometimes.
You do not have to be a student to receive free meals. You can just show up and eat, so long as you're 18 and younger. Now, in addition to eating, summer reading is detrimental, even more so for students who only scored a 1 on this year's FCAT reading test. We offer lots of help to those students in the form of third grade reading camps. Once again, here's Chadwick Pierce to explain.
The summer reading program is an intensive 6 weeks of reading enrichment for the students. Students that are invited have been level 1 on reading FCAT this past spring. And then we have students here that are possibly retentions in 3rd grade. And so we're trying to get them promoted to 4th grade, working on their portfolios, and they'll retake a test to see if they can be promoted. In order to be promoted to 4th grade, certain standards have to be met. There's several ways the students can get to 4th grade. They can take their tests during the year and be promoted. They can score a 2 or higher on FCAT, and they can also take a SAT 10 test at the end of the year in an effort to be promoted. The students that are here right now, a majority of them were not successful at those, so they are here in an attempt to get enrichment and reattempt to take a SAT 10 test to be promoted. We have a very set curriculum for our students that involves a daily word study, which is where they work on their phonics, they work on spelling, and we have an hour of phonics instruction every day. We also work on their fluency, which is their reading with inflection, reading smoothly. That's why you saw a lot of them echoing mimicking me as I read to them, so they get the right tone and punctuation. We also have independent reading during the day, so they can work on their self-sustained reading. We also have endurance reading, which is mainly for test prep, to get them to read those long passages and be able to answer the comprehension questions that go with those. They also have, you see them rotating in centers. They have 30 minutes of small group instruction with a teacher. They have 30 minutes of small group instruction with a paraprofessional. They have 30 minutes on a computer program called Ticket to Read, and then they have 30 minutes with the listening center. So they have 2 hours of that center rotation. We also spend 30 minutes a day in the computer lab on a program called iReady, which gives the students a diagnostic test to see their current level and then prescribes them curriculum based up from that computer program. It's an individually set curriculum for each of the students to work on. In order to be successful with Common Core or Florida standards, you need to be a strong reader. So there will always be a need for this program. Basically with Common Core, you're wanting the students to get into more complex text. And so all readers need this support that we're giving our students now. They need to be able to dive into a text, take it apart, answer questions based on evidence, and so they'll always need strong reading strategies.
Even though FCAT is now gone and a new test comes next year, we plan to continue the summer reading camps as long as they are necessary. We want to share an extended video with you now that captured Best of Show honors at this year's Marion County Student Media Festival. It is the story of Julia, a young lady battling a condition in her brain. It's memorable, mesmerizing, and somewhat magical, you might say. It's Julia's journey, presented by Jessica Miller of Lake Weir High School.
Hi, my name is Julia Kane. I'm 14 years old. I am an 8th grader at Fort King Middle School. Tonight is the Southeastern Youth Fair, and I'm hoping my hog will do well. To all the people in the stands, I look like any other kid, but what they don't know is that I'm fighting for my life. My journey began, like most of us do, with the smiles and giggles and games of childhood. My mom and dad always knew they wanted 2 children, and my arrival completed the family picture. But as I got older, my mom and dad felt that something wasn't right.
As a kid, when she was really little, she would always run into you or a wall, or, you know, she just seemed like her peripheral wasn't right or something like that.
We were sitting for 3, 4, 5 hours a night doing 1 page of homework. And when we were done, she couldn't remember how to do the problems over again.
My parents were scared that something was wrong with me, so they took me to the doctor. That only led to more questions.
It took 2 years of going to neurologists, having sleep studies, MRIs, you know, different blood tests, and they kept coming back, well, I don't see anything wrong. It's normal. There's nothing wrong.
They did a liver biopsy and found a storage disorder, and through the storage disorder, they led them to believe of this particular disease.
It turned out that I had Niemann-Pick disease type C.
Your brain makes cholesterol, and we have a protein that removes it from the brain, and she's missing that protein. So therefore the cholesterol builds up on the brain and basically keeps it from communicating with the rest of the body.
There are only 500 cases in the world because of how rare it is. It doesn't have as many medicines as common diseases. Research is limited, and medical options are uncertain.
There is no approved treatment for her disease. She takes 6 pills a day. Her medicine costs just under $40,000 a month.
Besides the medicine that I take every day, I am one of 12 people in the world who is in a clinical trial with an experimental drug not yet approved by the FDA. The trial is in Bethesda, Maryland, where my mom and I stay 1 week out of every month. Hi. How's it going? Look at my IV.
Crazy girl.
I don't like it, but it's okay. When the trial first started, the medicine was injected straight into my brain through a port, but due to infections, was put on hold.
Since we've started back in the trial, they changed the method of delivery, and instead of injecting it directly into the brain, they're injecting it into the spine.
The last 3 months, they've said that her hearing hasn't gotten any worse, so that kind of gives you a positive feeling that it's helping.
If a cure is not found, her body's going to shut down one system at a time. You know, it started with her hearing and her memory, but eventually these kids end up not being able to eat except for through a feeding tube. They end up in a wheelchair. They end up not being able to do anything for themselves, and then eventually they die.
With my family worrying about me so much, we rely on our faith to get us through it, especially me.
She's always asking to go to church. That's her favorite thing in the world, is to go to church.
For Julia, her faith is everything. Like, she gets upset if she can't go to church every Sunday. She loves church. She loves her friends at church. She loves worshiping God.
Our faith gives me the strength to live life like any other teen would. Although my condition may hold me back, I still act like a normal teen and try to live life to its fullest.
She's still a kid. She's still growing up just as anybody else would.
7.
You just took... You're such a cheater.
We still have that same relationship. Me and her are actually pretty close, so.
Back at the Southeastern Youth Fair, it's the end of the night. My hog was sold, and the competition was fun, but my greatest battle still lies ahead. Even though every parent's worst nightmare may eventually become reality, for now, my mom and dad are focused on the blessings.
You try and make the most out of everything and live now. And she makes that easy. She gets that without even, it's not even something she has to consciously think about.
There's a lot, just being part of her life is a blessing. Waking her up every day and seeing her off to school, putting her to bed every night. Those are all blessings.
If you'd like to learn more about me, visit juliasjourney.net.
Believe me, there was not a dry eye in the house when this story aired at the media festival. Julia was there in person and walked across the stage to accept Best of Show honors for her very own story. It was truly an amazing moment. Well, speaking of the festival, here is another first-place finisher, this time produced by Vanguard High School students. Teachers Traveling Adventures features Janet Clater, a European and world history teacher who just happens to love traveling.
Many people will tell you that they would gladly live out of a suitcase if it meant that they could see the world.
Because I just love traveling. I like the whole, everything about it.
This is most definitely the case for high school teacher and traveler Janet Clater, who will tell you that she would rather see something once than to hear about it 1,000 times.
When you see Versailles, you understand the French Revolution. When you see these places, you understand immediately why these, things happened.
After soon realizing that traveling is an experience that should be shared, Janet Clater decided to combine her love for teaching students and exploring the world by giving her students the opportunity to go on world tours with her.
Miss Claytor's experience with traveling and because she's traveled so much made my experience a lot better, because she knows the ins and outs of traveling. Like, she knows to tell us to pack lighter, or to what to pack and where to go and what to see.
The more that Claytor has traveled, the more she has come to realize that oftentimes a trip is successful because of the way that she prepares for it.
You need to make a list before you pack. And go by the list. Go through one of your regular morning routines and write down everything that you use and that you need to take with you. There's also, of course, you want a bad choice, good choice.
Because Janet Claytor has learned to pack on the lighter side, her traveling experiences have increased in leisure and decreased in stress.
When you're packing your clothes, it helps to roll. That makes them tighter, they fit better, and they come out without wrinkles when they're rolled.
Whether she is teaching her students or sitting down in her home enjoying a cup of coffee, Janet Claytor is always dreaming of traveling to her next destination.
I found out that there is a whole big world out there, not just Ocala, Florida.
Reporting for Nightly News, this has been Johnny Walker with photographer Erica Wood.
Over the next few months, we will share more award-winning videos with you, all completely produced by our very own students. It is not unusual for a science class to have students taking care of some fish, or just like maybe it's not strange to see students farming a small garden at their school. What is unique, though, is how teacher Thomas Allison combines the two crops in his science classes at Dunnellon Middle School. Here's Joel Hartley with that catch.
I thought it was going to be like one aquarium, but we have like two. And sometimes we deal with the garden to help the fish.
We raise bluegill and shiners. Right now, the last time we weighed them, they were 1 pound. The bluegill were 1 pound. It's pretty fun. You get to hang out with your friends and you get to help the fish, take care of them, learn more.
One thing they've learned is what anyone who has ever kept fish knows. A closed system, be it a small aquarium or a large tank, can get pretty dirty. And the fish don't like being moved to clean the tank.
The other day, this tank got really dirty. We had to put them out, and they really got stressed out, and we had to calm them down. Like, we put salt in the tanks, and it calmed them down.
The students came up with a rather ingenious way to solve that problem using an air filter as a water filter.
We all grouped up and thought of it. We're like, hey, those tanks are getting real. The clarifier tanks are really getting dirty. They're like, shouldn't we put another filter in it? But we didn't know how to put it in because we already have a filter in there. So we were like, oh, we should do this because this was already here, and connect it and put it in there so it can catch all the algae and the waste instead of building up all in there.
Keeping things clean is the biggest part of the job.
These filters that bring up all the waste from the fish tanks and bring in here, and we clean it every 2 to 3 days. And this breaks down all the bacteria because they get caught in these, and then it filters out and goes back in the water so the fish can get the more nutrients they need instead of the bad bacteria they don't need.
A siphon tube sucks out all the debris and all of the waste, and the fish waste that gets put into there in the tray, and we clean the tray.
We have to get a bucket, and there's a little valve under the clarifier tanks, and then you turn the valve, and we have a little squeegee that you clean out with, so you get all the waste out, and then you put it in the bucket, we put it in the waste box.
We put the fish waste into the hydroponic unit, and the hydroponic unit with the fish waste, because fish waste has a lot of nutrients, so the nutrients goes into the plants along with a whole bunch of fertilizer, and it makes the hydroponic units that has the plants in it grow so much faster than a regular field of lettuce and romaine and all those kinds of things.
Overall, it wasn't a perfect run, but it was a good one.
We have taken all the tanks and we put fish in them and we raise the fish and we've done trial runs, and the whole process is a time of trial and error. So we have made some errors, but we have learned from them, and it's a great lesson for all the kids, and I encourage a lot of people at different schools to try this because it's a great club, and all the kids here take their time and energy out of their lunch instead of talking to their friends, and you know, it's actually very fun and very educational. So myself has very much enjoyed it.
Given there is no one at school to take care of the fish over the summer, those fish were released into the Rainbow River. Mr. Allison will start the new school year with a new crop of fish and a new crop of students. Well, each month here on the Classroom Connection, we feature an employee who loves their job. Today, meet Dan Davis, but he does not deal with young students. Instead, this assistant principal deals with older students, from recent graduates hoping to enter the workforce to retirees looking for a brand new skill.
I love my job because it's a job that directly impacts people and their lives.
We have students that may not qualify for Job Corps, but what we're looking for is places that we could still
refer those students to. Certainly, absolutely, yeah. And we are one of those schools. Our student population here is from 16 years old to sometimes 80 plus years old. We graduated a woman with a high school equivalency diploma last year who was 85 years old. Every individual that comes in here is unique. They have unique needs, unique backgrounds, varying backgrounds, circumstances in life that cause them to be where they are. In our average age here, average age is probably in the 30s. A lot of people that are students of ours are working somewhere already, can't come to school in the daytime because they have to have a job to exist. So they need to come at night. So we run night programs. We are actually open from 7:30 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, Monday through Thursday. I've been in career and technical education of the 37 years I've been in education, for 33 of those years I've worked directly with career and technical education, either as an instructor, as a coordinator, as a district supervisor, or as an administrator. And for me, it works very well because I get to directly impact students and directly impact people in their preparation for life and preparation for their career. And that in itself is very, very rewarding.
Over the next few months, we will take a closer look at some of the programs offered at CTAE, so stay tuned for those stories. This month, Superintendent George Tomyn presents the new budget to our school board members. Right now, though, he has some important information to share with you.
I bring you summer greetings from the Marion County Public School System. And for many of our teachers and many of our students, the summer months are filled with lazy days where they stay at home or visit the pool or take vacations. But also, we continue to have many active programs during the summer months. In our elementary schools, we are offering VPK, which is a kindergarten program for many of our students. We have that operating at about 12 of our school sites. And at those same sites, we also have a third grade camp that's going on for some of our students that needed a little extra help. At the secondary level, we are offering driver education at our high schools. We are offering middle school unit recovery because middle school students now must pass a certain number of units before they can be promoted to the next grade. And we're also offering high school credit recovery. Later on this summer, we'll also have what we call an algebra boot camp for those students who need some special prep in order to pass the required Algebra 1 end of course exam. And for all elementary schools level students and all high school students, we also run an extended school year for some of our special needs students. We can't forget that also our community, technical, and adult education continues to work 12 months a year, busy with certifying different people for different programs and also offering our general education development program, or our GED program. I will say a hats off to CTAE because just last school year, that program completed 436 GED graduates. We're pretty excited about that program. And also one thing that's very famous here in the Ocala-Marion County area is we continue to have Camp Kiwanis out in the Ocala National Forest, sponsored by the school system and our local Kiwanis Club of Ocala. And then finally, our teachers are also busy this summer. Some busy resting, but many of our teachers are attending professional development activities, especially as we prepare for the new Florida standards and also the new Florida standard assessment that will be given next spring. So the summer months are warm, maybe a little lazy for some of us, but we continue to be very busy here in the Marion County Public School System.
Thanks, Mr. Tomyn, and thank you for joining us today. It's been a full show, and we appreciate you watching. We're also proud to say Classroom Connection is an award-winning show according to NSPRA, the National School Public Relations Association. So once again, thanks for joining us, and parents, remember, be there for your child every day.